I'm back, baby.
A while back, I was at one of my local video game stores looking for random fodder to add to my collection when I came across this. Duke Nukem Forever. Oh yeah, I thought. I never actually got around to playing this. In fact, I kind of forgot it existed. I'd forgotten about it altogether. So I picked it up, and for the modest price of $5, I became the proud owner of one of the most longest awaited games in gaming history, as well as one of the most disappointing. But is it as bad as everyone says it is? I don't know. I've never played it, which is what I'm going to do today. Oh yeah, that's right. Modern games have to update, or install, or sometimes install and update. Well, while that's going on, might as well give you a little bit of backstory. Duke Nukem was originally a two-dimensional side-scrolling action game. You play as Duke and take on alien forces that are trying to take over the world. It was released by Apogee on PC back in 1991. Strangely enough, the spelling of his name was changed for the 2.0 release of the game. Now, I don't mean Duke Nukem 2. Duke Nukem 1 was released two separate times, as the original and then a 2.0. In the original, it was first spelled Duke Nukem with an E, but worried that the name might already be trademarked by the Duke Nukem character that appeared in Ted Turner's Captain Planet, Apogee changed the spelling to Duke Nukem with a U for the 2.0 release. Later, the name was found to not be trademarked, so Duke's last name was returned to the E spelling for the sequel, as well as all the games that followed. Duke Nukem 2 was released in 1993, where it takes place in the future world of 1998, where Duke, once again, has to take on the invading alien forces. The graphics had improved, but it was the similar style of the first one. But in 1996, 3D Realms took the developing reins and brought Duke front and center to the gaming world. This, for many, was their first Duke Nukem game. It had the elements of the already popular Doom series, but took it a step further. Not only was it now a 3D first-person shooter, it was the bad Macho Man B-movie of the first-person shooters, and fans ate it up. It had sex, violence, and shitting down the neck of one of the bosses.
I'll rip your sock and shit down your neck.
Yeah, he says he's gonna do it, and he does it. "16-year-old me thought this was the greatest thing ever. But after 1996, all was quiet on the Nukem front. We never saw a main series sequel for another 15 years. Sure, we had tons of spin-offs that were released on various consoles during the late 90s and early 2000s, but we were promised Duke Nukem 4 as early as 1997. Yeah, the original release for Duke Nukem 4 was between 1997 and 1998. But those years came and went with no release and no further announcement. In 2001, 3D Realms stated that the game would release when it's done. Oh really, 3D Realms? It's not going to release before it's done? Actually, in all fairness, we do know what that looks like. So again, the years went by without so much as a peep about the status of Duke Nukem 4 until December of 2007, when a teaser trailer was released. Great! So we'll be playing it sometime in the next year or so, right? Wrong! In May of 2009, 3D Realms lost the game's development team due to downsizing. Take-Two Interactive, who owned the publishing rights to Duke Nukem 4, sued 3D Realms for failing to complete the game's development. The case was settled, but the details of the lawsuit were undisclosed. Finally, in 2010, reports came in that Duke Nukem Forever was picked up by Gearbox, who was praised for their recently successful game Borderlands. It was slotted to be released May of 2011. So, was it? No, it was delayed again, but this time only for a month. It was finally in the hands of gamers in June of 2011. So after nearly 15 years of waiting, was it worth the wait? Almost all fans and critics and reviewers have said no. It was so negatively received that it has become something of legend. Can the game really be that bad? It's done updating. Let's give it a try. All right. Press start. Well, I think we just found our first problem. These loading times are unacceptable for 2011. I mean, sure, Skyrim had loading times that were ridiculously long, but they were loading an entire world map where there was no loading times when you were walking in the free world. These are just first-person shooter stages. I would expect this in the 90s, but not now. Ah, here we go.
Those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting up my ride.
The game begins with Duke pissing at a urinal.
This is taking forever.
Why wouldn't I expect anything else?
Time to stop pissing around and get this big guy back into action.
You leave the bathroom to what appears to be cops or a SWAT team in front of a whiteboard planning their next course of action. You have the option to add your own notes to the whiteboard. It serves no purpose, but I got an achievement out of it. Look, I made Mississippi.
Genius.
Oh, let me get into my 16-year-old frame of mind. And there we go, and I am an artist. Moving along, Duke meets up in the beginning with the familiar boss. It's the final boss you encounter in Duke Nukem 3D, and just like in that game, you move in circles while hitting him with overpowered rockets. Eventually you take him down and kick his eye, making a field goal, and that leads you into the opening of the game.
It's good. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so apparently that intro I just played was
That
Duke
was fun.
playing his own
Was it
video
good
game.
for you, baby?
And
What about the game, Duke? Was it any good?
wow, Duke Nukem is getting serviced by the Olsen twins.
Anytime you wanna
I'm not kidding. It's the Olsen twins. I mean, they call them the Wholesome Twins, but look at their video in the background. Yeah, it's the Olsen twins.
video. Your hair looked so
I don't think I'll ever be able to look at this game the same way again,
So did yours.
if I ever happen to look at that game again.
Tune in tonight at midnight to see my interview with the one, the only Duke Nukem.
So Duke flips through channels showing that he's about to appear on the late night show called Damn It's Late. And then there's a report on the news that aliens have returned. So you can explore around your suite, and right here is a good time to explain the health system. Gone are the days of picking up medkits to heal yourself throughout stages. Now you have the ego bar. It works the same. If you run out of ego, you die and restart at the last checkpoint. However, it replenishes on its own, so you don't have to worry about medkits or heals. Honestly, I kind of like that addition. The more you interact with objects throughout the game, the longer your ego bar gets. And you can take more damage before having to find cover. Okay, pissing boosts his ego. So you take the elevator down to the show where you're about to appear.
Hi there. You're even better looking in person.
You know, I was kind of expecting to just be dropped into the action. I mean, that's how the last game worked. You get dropped in, basically guns blazing. This game has at least a half hour of backstory before you can do anything.
Real big fan. Go on and ask him, Jimmy.
Mr. Nukem, will you sign this for me?
Sure, kid. But I better not find this on eBay.
Duke Nukem Forever!
sorry, Duke. Looks like they're shutting us down for the night.
So your appearance on tonight's Damn It's Late is canceled due to the alien invasion. On your way to figure out what the heck's happening, you come across an actor going on a rant similar to Christian Bale on the set of Terminator Salvation.
Through the set, you never stop to wonder if...
Oh, thanks, Duke. That guy was a douche.
Random. The power goes out on your way up, and you have to make the rest of the way on foot.
Hey, get lost, pal. The king needs his throne.
No way, man, no way! I'm not leaving until I get my picture on this throne. I've waited years for this. Hey, could you hit that picture button over there?
Duke Nukem Forever!
Thanks, man! I can't wait to check my mail!
So you take the Duke throne into the Duke Cave. Here you speak to the President and the General, who both tell you not to shoot first. The aliens may not be hostile. Oh, but wait, they are, as you find out the moment you walk into the next room. And here's where the game actually begins. After this point, it's a linear first-person shooter. You start at one end and get to the other while clearing waves of aliens and driving an RC car around a room. Duke Nukem Forever! Eventually, you get to see where the aliens are taking all of the women. This, I remember, being part of the controversy behind the game. Besides this being a complete rip-off of Aliens, but let's be honest, Duke Nukem's a rip-off of everything, there are women begging Duke for help all around. Including a couple of familiar faces from the beginning of the game.
What's happening to us?
Looks like you're fucked.
Duke, it was our first time with an alien. Duke, we'll get the weight off in like a week, we swear.
You little bastard. That queen bitch mother of yours is gonna pay.
Are those boobs on the wall? There's boobs on the wall. What adolescent programmer came up with this?
Check it out, butthead. I put 3 boobs on this boss.
You should put boobs on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Duke Nukem's gonna rule. Alright, as you further navigate the hive here, you come across the queen. And what the hell am I looking at? Again, this alien is in the earlier Duke game, but yeah, improved graphics have made certain elements stand out. After you defeat the queen, you get rescued and find yourself in a strip club.
I must be dreaming. Kick ass.
Hey there, boss man. How about we play a game? I'll be the boss, and you can take orders. What do you say? There'll be a lap dance. And cake.
Don't do it, Duke. It's a lie.
Okay, baby. I can dig that roleplay shit. You tell me what to do.
Okay, then. Well, first, I'm kind of hungry, so I need something to nibble on. And then, I need something naughty to play with. And then, well, a girl has to play it safe, even with you, Duke.
So you have to find popcorn, a vibrator, and a condom.
Ooh, body massage.
Duke Nukem Forever!
Before you tap it.
Once you get all the items, you go back into the naughty room and
enjoy the show.
it was all a dream. You wake up and find that you're on a gunship that is being shot down. And from this point on, there isn't too much out of the ordinary. You shoot, move on. You drive, move on. You shoot some more, you move on some more. After a scene which is also similar to the end of Aliens, you have a showdown with the final boss, who was the final boss at the end of the last game. And at the beginning of this game. You beat the boss and get lifted away, where you address the welcoming people you have just saved.
Now that the aliens are dead and you've saved the world once again, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna run for president.
Sure, why not? Duke Nukem for president.
Hail to the king, baby.
And that was Duke Nukem Forever. So, is it as bad as people say? Honestly, no. Keep in mind, I went into this expecting the worst based upon reviews and what people have told me about it. Oh, it's awful. It's barely playable. What I found was a game that was simply okay. I think the biggest flaw was that it took 15 years to see the light of day. And 15 years is a long time for something to get hyped. When it finally came out, it didn't live up to that hype. Now, I'm not completely defending this game. It has problems. First off, the load times are ridiculous. Having to wait this long to play a stage in 2011 is insane. Yeah, I had to say it again. But the biggest problem that this game has is it really doesn't offer us anything new. Yeah, there's some new elements scattered throughout the game like driving and puzzle solving, but this isn't something that I want in a Duke Nukem game. Give me multiple places to go. Give me secret rooms to find. Give me items to collect that can unlock overpowered weapons. And give me a huge variety of weapons. The weapons that Duke can carry at one time has been reduced to 2. Why? Why drop the huge amount of arsenal that Duke used to carry? Oh, and the underwater stages. I forgot to mention those. Yeah, these are awful. You need to navigate through these while grabbing pockets of air, similar to Sonic the Hedgehog in the Labyrinth Zone. This is the part of the game that I would agree is almost unplayable. This may have been a more accepted game in 1998, but it came out in 2011. First-person shooters had come a long way, and this game felt like we were taking a big step back. The graphics at times, they look dated. And the stages are way too linear and incredibly simplistic. And the story and humor, well, it's exactly what I was expecting. It's that same crude humor that made me laugh when I was 16 years old. It's a bit sophomoric to me now. I've heard these jokes time and time again, and honestly, they're just not that funny to me anymore. If you were a huge Duke Nukem fan back in the day, and you've been hesitant to play Duke Nukem Forever based upon its reviews, I'd say give it a go. It's definitely not a game that's worth waiting 15 years to play, but for me, it was surprisingly better than I was expecting. I guess my advice to you would be to start this game with really, really low expectations, and then you might be pleasantly surprised.